Hey, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I normally don't do a video like this for Todd's Corner on holidays, but since we just wound up from WonderFest, I thought I'd do a quick broadcast today, show you some of the things that you may have seen or may not have seen. So I'm going to make sure I'm not doing that so I can see the comments here. So, welcome to Todd's Corner. This is the WonderFest wrap up. We had a very, very good weekend with Nick Tate, Roy Gordon, and Jeffrey Morris. So, I had no clue, none whatsoever, how busy I was going to be. Hence the reason I didn't do a live corner from Todd's Corner that day. So, I apologize. But wow, we were busy. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Roy Bajiliquist. Oh,
You didn't.
Roy.
Hey, Todd. You didn't say Bajeliquist, did you?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Just busting your chops.
Say it. Introduce yourself.
Roy Belquist. The J is silent. Sweet.
Bajiliquist. I know. I knew that.
Whoops. There we go. It's better.
My bad.
It's all good.
I'm at my. Obviously, everybody knows. Well, if you don't know, I'm in Florida. My dad was having some issues. Still having them. I'm probably going to be here for a little while. Probably till at least the 30th, till I get to his doctor visits and see how he's doing and get a lot of questions answered.
Yeah.
So I'm at my cousin's today. We had a little Father's Day to get together. My dad was sleeping. I didn't want to interrupt him. So I'm taking my doggy bag home. A good one, too. Steak and pork chops and everything. So anyway, that's a brief thing of what's going on with me. So I've been pretty tied up since I left WonderFest. I mean, this happened like Tuesday. I had my cousin call and said, "Hey, your dad does not look well." So I called. Actually, my cousin Jill was over there and answered his phone, and I told her to call 911 and get him to the hospital. So anyway, that's where I'm at, and we're gonna move on to some cool things. WonderFest, outstanding weekend. I was exhausted, but I think we had a good show. What do you think, Roy?
Oh my God, the display was incredible. The amount of talent that actually comes to WonderFest is truly amazing. I mean, I was hoping to have gotten there last year, and I was on my way for I was caught in about an hour and a half worth of traffic, and you and Gordon have been talking about this for the last several years with me, and I'm just glad I was able to make it out there this year. It was incredible. I mean, the Space 1999 exhibit was amazing in itself, and just getting to see the 88-inch eagle up front was very cool. And it's so funny because when you see the 44-inch compared to the 88, it made the 88. I mean, the 44-inch looks small, and
Yeah,
then going right down the line. And I know Gordon essentially had that vision of doing the V-shaped and then having Mike Reeder's 44-inch eagle right in the middle, and then in the background have the 88-inch, and of course Eagle 4 with the spine boosters, which has
right.
always been my favorite. But no, that was wonderful. And then again, just all the talent that, I mean, everything that was there. And when you think about the model makers and the folks that have been coming to WonderFest, I mean, this event has been going on, from my understanding, since like 1996. And
Yeah,
another friend, Sean Tabor, had talked about that, and because he lives in Kentucky, and he just said it's something that his son has grown up with. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a letdown. So if you have not ever been to WonderFest and you have the opportunity to go to WonderFest, I highly recommend it. And of course, Space 1999 was well represented there too.
oh yeah, and it was the year of the 40th year of Return of the Jedi, so there's a lot of Star Wars fans there.
Yeah.
We snagged a lot of them over there to the display, to the tables, to Nick's table. Nick was signing autographs from 10 o'clock until nearly 5 o'clock Saturday. And the same, we had some interviews going on with Jeffrey Morris and the Eagle Has Landed things.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he was busy.
Yeah.
Telling,
Yeah, and
doing what
it's
he
really
just
cool.
likes.
Exactly, and it was really cool to hear the different fans of the show. There were a lot of fans that had not seen the show in some time, and then they got to see Nick, and they were just very appreciative of his being a part of the show, and how he's heard this a lot, where he's been influenced. A lot of people in that show have influenced so many people into different careers, and it was no different hearing that. And I know Nick told the one story of an adult who was probably around our age, Todd, and had not seen the show, had only seen it maybe a handful of times growing up. So watching it over the last couple years, really got to experience Space 1999 fresh, which is really cool if you think about it, and was just really taken with it. So I think that made a strong impression with Nick as well.
Yeah, since I was sitting with Nick the majority of the time, the amount of people that were first timers to see anybody from Space 1999 from the cast, oh my gosh, there was some of them were so starstruck they couldn't even talk, like
Yeah.
like right now. So he really makes people feel at home. He's like, oh, you don't have to be that way.
Right.
Just a down to earth guy wanting to tell my story.
Yep.
And he would tell stories in between autographs. Sometimes I had to kind of nudge something in front of him to sign for the next person, and kind of hey, it's been 10 minutes, come on. But yeah, he was wonderful.
Speaking of Nick too, Todd, today's his birthday. He's 80,
Yep.
81 today.
Everybody's put a shout out to either his Facebook page or the fan group page to tell him happy birthday.
Yeah.
81 years old.
Crazy.
And still rocking it.
Yep.
He stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning Friday night. He was probably up until at least midnight, 1 o'clock on Saturday, up there in the suite we had. And then Sunday, he was up pretty late too, but not too late, I'm sure. I talked to him a few times after we left. For a while, we thought he went to the bowling alley.
So, really?
Okay, I'd like to see that. But he was actually down in the Blue Horse in the bar talking to some people. But Nick did a very fantastic job. So I got some photos, and we can talk about those, and just anything that pops to your mind in there. Roy, stop me, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Todd.
So the first, there, I made these coasters before we went, and I did not get to sit at the props and ships sales table very long. And I have to go out and throw some thanks towards David Boyer for manning that position. He did a wonderful job. I had these on the table, but they weren't very, very noticeable to anybody. So if anybody wants a coaster with either Moonbase Alpha or the Props and Ships logo on it, on the back of each one says WonderFest at it. So just get a hold of me, and we'll get you one. I believe they're $10 for one and $18 for two. So we began the day on Friday evening. Well, actually, we left my house at noon. I had Gordon in tow, and I had Mike and Debbie Reeder. They always come to my house the night before, and then Friday we travel in a caravan. And we went to so we stopped and got some breakfast, and then we got there. We didn't leave probably till 1 o'clock. because we can't get into our rooms until 3 anyway. And in this display room down here, this area B where we're having the display, doesn't open up until 4. So we got there. We start doing this setup. They got the you can see the 88-inch eagle down the right hand corner as we're bringing the parts in. Get a little further, and we've got the 88 together, and we're putting 44s and stuff together. And I decided that I wanted to hold the lab pod for the 44. Let me tell you, that thing's heavy. And look, it covers me. I'm a big guy. It covers me up. So I'll do a picture like that any day because it doesn't make me look so big. But so that was the setup part. Let me see what's next. And then there it is, completely set up. We had the 88, we had 344s. The one in the middle is Mike Readers with all his bling on it and his fancy smancy radar in the nose there. And then we just kind of went down and scaled it all down on each one of them. So it goes to 22s, then the 72, the 172 scales, which are just released not too long ago. Then it goes to the 12-inch. And I think there's after the 12, there's the Eagle Moss. And then from there on down, it's on like Donkey Kong. So we decided to do one of Eagle 4 and the regular transporter. So this is representing a lot of stuff that people have built. There's Andrew Grimshaw's 88-inch Eagle that he sold Gordon, and I don't know how they shipped it over here and everything, but that had to be a big box. So yeah, that was a pretty neat display.
It's incredible how big that is too, Todd. I mean, the 44 is not small by any means, and then when you see it, but next to the 88, it just totally overcomes it.
Yeah, and if it's hard to explain until you do something like this, the sizes of these things. All the way down on the right, where all the Eagle 4s are at, that's a 3.25 inch long Eagle 4 that David Jacobs printed the parts and put together, and I don't think I have a close up of it, but it's little bitty. It's smaller than the 5-inch 1612 Eagles. It's also smaller than the Konomi, so it's pretty neat. It's really hard to you had to see it in person. This is awesome as a photo, but if you sit in that chair right there to the right and look up at it, it is huge.
Yeah, the photo really, I mean, the photo does it justice, but then to say the photo doesn't do it justice as well, because again, in person, it's just a different perspective. In fact, when I took the photo of it and I was looking it over, I was saying it's almost like a forced perspective, but it's a real forced perspective. It's not an illusion. I mean, it is literally the way it just, descends back. And it's amazing that there's Eagles that were made to be as small as they are. I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, I got everybody. Looks like everybody's chiming in. James Butler's here. Let's see. It's hard to. Christian Lancet. Looks like Warren's here.
Hey, Warren.
It's hard for me to tell on here because it won't show me unless you've signed up and let StreamYard use your name, your username. It won't show me. But it looks like Joe McNally's here. Thomas Bulmer. So welcome everybody, and we've got some questions popping up. Let me go in order here.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I wish I could see it on my phone. Unfortunately, my laptop's not. I'm not able to connect to the internet, so that kind of thwarted my plans.
Okay, so thank you for your sending your thoughts and prayers. I appreciate that. from all of you. I appreciate it very much. Um, Thomas wants to know, are they going to bring back the show? Is it going to change the name? What channel? No, they're not going to bring back the show or reboot it at this moment. We are doing actually, Jeffrey Morris is producing the Eagle Has Landed documentary. So there'll be more about that coming soon, and I'll have some photos of him doing interviews and doing some stuff with the camera crew as we move on through the show today. But no name change, no new show as of yet. It would be nice, but I don't think that's something we're probably going to have to just realize it's not going to happen. And James says, I watched the Space 1999 on its original run in the 70s. Yeah, most of us did, except for me. I had a different account. Seems like everybody else kind of found it when the show popped up. But my next door neighbor, Tom Brown, he had a 12-inch Eagle built and I was over at his house one day and I saw it. And pretty much from there, I was like stuck on it. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I would go back over there day after day. And I believe that he finally just said, you know what? You don't have to come over here every day and look at this. I'll just give it to you. So then I took it home and my dad helped me find the show that it went to. And it was, I think the first time I watched it was actually season 2, which I liked it then because I was a kid. And I think season 2 is basically for children anyway. But then I went back and found season 1 and I was blown away. So that's how I found it.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear everybody's different stories about how they came upon the series. I mean, there are so many and so many people that obviously they saw it from, day one, but then it's really cool to hear about the folks that just recently discovered it and their take on it, or someone like yourself, Todd, having seen season 2 first and then they go to see season 1. I mean,
yeah, that was weird. I didn't think about it back then, but it was probably weird. I'm glad I went back and watched it, but had I done that all these years and then watched season 1, I'd have been, you guys were mad already because season 2 was like they jerked everybody out. But then I get back there and there's no Maya and there's no Tony. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But once I started watching it and I realized that was actually season 1, that season 1 stuck with me. Let's see what else we got here. Scott Anderson Keys, I believe is how he say his last name, is there with us. He said, hi, Roy and Todd. Great photos. Thanks for the recap. Joe Manali wants to know if I'm coming to London next year. If they build it, I will come. That's all I can say. I'm waiting to do an actual convention that I have nothing to do with, and I can just be there as a fan.
Todd is on record.
and meet some of the people in the UK that I have not met face to face yet.
Yeah.
So if it's there, I'll be there. Let's see what else. So move a little bit forward, and there's Nick's setup for him. That's my Carter helmet. I had him sign it, but if you can see in that top picture, the display and his table are right next to each other, so he got a lot of attention. I mean, he was doing good. That's how we set it up for him.
I meant to ask you, Todd, did Nick put the helmet on by any chance?
He didn't put it on, but he had a picture taken with him, like he had it next to him, like he did in the show.
Yep.
He did take. You may have taken that picture. I don't remember. There's a mixture of everybody's pictures in here because I was tied up and I didn't realize how fast time was going. I mean, in all honesty, um, I had planned on doing so much more, but Nick and the Jeffrey Morris interviews and camera crews and all that stuff really, I didn't know what to expect, and it took up a lot of time for me. I didn't make it over
Yeah.
to the regular props and ships table maybe once or twice each day. And that was just for a few minutes till somebody says, "Hey, you need some over here." So
Yeah, and it's
I know.
literally,
Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and it's literally 2 days. I mean, it's not like it's a week event, an
Right.
event that's taken, it's not like a 5-day event or, a 4-day event. So time, as we know, time goes very fast during these type of things, and you're just, you're really, really busy. So it's totally understandable that, the time got away from you because you were busy.
Yeah, I know, and I know I let a few people down because I didn't get some of the autographs I was wanting to get them. I do have autographs that we can get to you people that are already signed by Nick. He signed a bunch of them before he left, before we left. So he just said, just I think he told me to sell them for 25 plus shipping. So they're available. And if you get more than one, we can make he told me to break it down a little bit better than that. So, and then I kept trying to catch up with my buddy Chris from the UK, and we touched base a few times, but he's an awesome guy, and I had something for him, and we just kept missing each other, and I apologize, but yeah, I was just overwhelmed. So anyway, if I missed something that somebody asked for, hit me up in a message, and I'll see what I can do about getting it for you. I didn't even get any autographs for myself for like the Star Wars guys. I did get Bill George to sign my X-wing.
Nice.
But the other two, was it Lauren Peterson and something like that? I never got over there, and by the time I got to thinking about it, they had already wrapped up and were moving on. So
yeah, there was a few people I wanted to see too, and I didn't do it. And I'm looking back on it. I mean, Rick Sternbach was there. I mean, from Star Trek. He designed, I think, the technical manual with the Akutas. He was there. I mean, there was a lot of talent. Darren Dockerman was there. John Eves was there, also, from the Trek universe.
right,
And yeah, just a lot of cool people. In fact,
actually,
I wanted. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say I wanted to catch up with from the Land of the Lost, Kathy Coleman and Wesley
Yeah.
Ewer, and I actually ran into Kathy Coleman in the elevator, and it was just super nice, and but everything again just always goes very quickly.
She still looks like her. She's just an older herself, but she's still got the face.
Yep,
Uh,
absolutely.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I wanted to go over there and get a picture with them because me and my sister, Lisa, we would watch Atlanta Lost every day after work, after school. So that was a big part of our childhood, and I didn't get to get over there either. So
Yeah.
hopefully, everybody will understand that I did my best, and that's all I can do. And I'll make it right if I didn't do something for somebody. Just send me an email or a message, no problem. So this is all set up for Nick, and then we'll go to the next photo. There's the setup again. It's just unbelievable. See, the one time I did make it over to the table, somebody took a picture of me just so I could be seen there. And I want to thank anybody out there that came to the table and purchased anything. I was hoping to sell some bigger items like the Hawks and the big Ultra Probe command module. And just so everybody knows, that command module, I purchased everything off of Andrew Grimshaw to make that. We have a couple people question that it was a recast. It is not. It was bought from me. It was bought from Andrew, and I bought it. And then it used to be a fiberglass kit when Andrew did his UK versions, but it was too hard to do fiberglass with the caster that I had. So we changed it to resin. So it's a really nice. It's not any better or any worse than what the UK version was. Just so everybody knows. I don't want anybody to be thinking that I'm a recaster, because I'm not. Okay, so there I am at the table, and you see Mike and Debbie behind me, hard at work. Well, yeah, they're not busy right now, but their table stays busy. I think it helps me, actually. I thought we would help them, but I think it's the opposite. I think they helped me because they're very busy. I enjoy spending time with them too.
Yeah, every time I went by there, they were pretty much hands-on with different folks, and yeah, it was good seeing them. It was also nice meeting Dave. I got to meet him in person for the first time, as well as Tom. So
Tom
really, really
Eilerman.
nice. Yeah, both really nice guys. So it was really very nice to to catch up with them for the first time and everything.
You're talking about David Boyer.
Yeah.
He's been a pretty good guy, and I got to send out some love to you and Rosie and Becky for helping sit in when I needed to just run and scream and jump in the pool or something to drown myself.
That was you in the pool that they were talking about?
Yeah.
The security announcement?
Yeah, that's what it was. But you sat in with Nick a few times. I know Becky and Rosie did too. So, and Paula next to him right there, she was provided by WonderFest. She really did a good job at handling the money. So Nick could talk to his fans and didn't have to handle the money. And I would be the guy sitting on the right hand of him and doing the next, because Nick is really good at talking about his favorite subject, him, and that's honest. That's straight from Hazel, his wife. So.
And Nick tells the story really well too. It's funny because I remember when I had him, I was going to have him back on the show, and I did a promo with him, and he commented that he had been on the first time, and then he said unfortunately sometimes I kind of go off track, and I kind of get diverted, but we're going to try this again. So I mean, he's very upfront about it. But from a fan perspective, if you're on the receiving end of that, I mean, it's pretty awesome because you get to hear these wonderful stories, and they're so detailed, and he doesn't miss a beat. So it's on that side of it, it's really cool. It's just that if you have a line of folks, then it's like you hate to cut them off because you don't want to cut them off, but unfortunately.
And they'll, as long as they were close enough to the table, they can listen to his stories too. So
sure, yeah,
it wasn't too bad, but yeah, just a few times we had to nudge him to, here, if you want to keep talking, go ahead, but sign this for this guy.
Right.
I mean, just when you think it's slowing down, they line up right behind somebody, and it just goes on. It was wrapped around to the other booths for a while, so I'm glad he really enjoyed it. So there he is holding his helmet. That's his name on my helmet, by the way. I told him, you can borrow my helmet just because it has your name on it. So yeah, he was having a good time. Some more Nick photos. Me, I think the top left photo, I think I was talking to Gordon. That's who I was looking at. And Nick was telling the story. So there was two conversations going on there. But there's some photos of Nick signing things for people, and he took a couple photos with people. He was very gracious about that. And you got Don and Bev down there from Canada. They drove in with Mike and Debbie. Donald's been they've been in the Space 1999 stuff for a long time.
Yeah, it was nice to finally to meet up with them as well too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was trying to get in some. That was me taking photos right next to him because it was hard to get him and the fans in the photo, and there was not much room behind me. There was that little uh, stone wall type thing, and then a little bitty space to get back there behind the display. So I had to kind of bend back and do all this, try to get the angles because I wanted people to see him talking to his fans. He is a talker. All right, so then Saturday night we had the stuff up in our room, our suite. We have two adjoining rooms. Mike and Debbie stay in one, and me and Gordon stayed in the other. And we call the middle one a parlor. So it's our little get together. We have more than just Space 1999 up there. So BP Taylor had some really cool stuff up there. Who else was up there? I'll think of it in a minute. Sorry. I mean, there was some of our stuff. I had my full size 124 scale UPCM down to the 12-inch, I believe, on like a scale display up there.
Oh, Keith had something from Star Trek.
Keith Mayfield that's Keith Mayfield stuff back there in the back, the Thunderbirds.
Yep, that was really cool.
And he had his own home built Enterprise back there, and then you see the full scale Swift that David Jacobs built a few years ago.
Yep.
So we had some good times up there. A lot of people came in and seen us. Most of these guys are there every year, and they look forward to this gathering.
Yeah, I want to say too, it was very nice meeting Keith and getting to talk with him, as well as Dave Jacobs and his wife as well. They were very, very nice people, and yeah, just a very nice group. But it was nice to be able to actually meet them in person, so it was kind of cool. And Dave Jacobs' work is amazing, and
outstanding.
You talk about somebody that's humble about his work. Wow, I mean,
yeah.
he really, really is, and the output that he does. I mean, I'm not taking away from. I mean, everybody that builds. I mean, and had any type of creation that was at this event. I mean, their work is incredible. So I'm not taking away from anybody, but what I am saying is, in regards to Dave Jacobs, I mean, the things that he has done, just I've heard about in the past and then seen. I mean, it really, really is incredible. So it was, again, very nice to meet them.
I think next year is going to be our theme is going to be the laser tanks, and I believe he's going to build a 112 scale.
Wow!
So can you imagine that?
That's going to be pretty cool.
It's going to be big, and knowing him, he's going to want to make it remote control and all the lights and all that stuff on it. So it'll be interesting to see. Every year he does something, out of they'll blow your mind completely out. The Altaris a few years ago, he did the Swift, that studio scale Swift. So we'll see what happens. His X-wing this year for the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that was so cool.
In these pictures, I see Mike, Don, I see BP Taylor, Eric Longstreet. You're talking to Tom Eilerman, it looks like, and there's Harold Wolf Sr. back there, and I see Debbie in the bottom left picture. So we had a lot of people showing up at these things. And then enters Nick after we're done all the signings and everything, and everybody's had dinner. He comes in and he starts talking, and I'm not sure what was going on with the sock. Were you there?
No.
Yeah, he took his sock off or something, and everybody kept asking, "What's going on with Nick's sock?" I'm like, I don't know.
No, I missed that.
Yeah. So there's some more photos of BP, and there's David Jacobs and David Boyer next to Nick right there in that top left photo. And you can see the UPCM stuff right there. I had it in like a little drop down. You can see the studio scale side on. There's some work from Eric Longstreet on that bench, on that table. There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. And BP Taylor, let me tell you, that man can build, and scratch build. I'm talking about just start with nothing, and it ends up being something. So I think I got a few more pictures of his stuff.
It's truly a gift to be able to do that.
It is. There's me down in there going, I'm tired. Then there's some more pictures of the stuff that was on the tables in the suite, and Mr. BP and Nick right over the top of his. I think it's was it a moon hopper, or I can't remember what it said on it.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Nick with Jay Barnes's. No, that is Jeffrey Wargo's Eagle Beak tank, 1/24 scale. And then we got David Jacobs and Trixie Jacobs and David Boyer in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
So everybody was having a good time. Augie joined us up there and got his Comlock autographed. He did a preview to WonderFest and said he was taking that specifically for using to get his autograph on that.
Nice.
That Metaprobe is Donald Hyangas. He's from Canada. He's one that came down with Mike and Debbie, and it was probably one of the first ones built, and then it became a Jim Small kit. So it's pretty nifty. Some things are a little bit different than what Jim finished with, but yeah, Donald built that.
So is that Metaprobe Todd from like the 90s then?
Yeah, it was early. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was pre. I would say it was pre-internet thing, because he lives kind of close to Jim Small, so they've been buddies over a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, that is pretty cool.
The nuclear waste stylos I thought was kind of cool. In fact, I was trying to take some video of that, and then Tom took some video for me. And what I want to do is I want to put some music behind it from Breakaway, and it's kind of cool just to pan over and everything, and it really it's a nice representation of the nuclear waste disposal area.
I got to figure out the battery thing on that. I tried to get the batteries the correct. So I'm gonna have to call Richard Ashton and say, "Hey, what are you trying to do to me? I can't get the batteries in the correct way." I did notice that I left one battery in it, and it started to corrode. So maybe I've got some corrosion on the inside part, but
Gotcha.
I'll get it up and running. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
In comes Jeffrey Morris. So Jeffrey had an idea of how he wanted things, but he had it up here. So learning from what he wanted to get done and everything, it was pretty neat though. I know you captured some of the interview that the quick interview we did up in the suite, And the picture in the middle on the bottom that's exactly what's going on. Is he's doing a little interview with me, Keith Mayfield, David Boyer, and Gordon Moriguchi. And it was pretty cool. I never realized it, but when you're sitting out there and the camera's in front of you, you always see those click, take one, they do all that. If they mess up, they just go click, take two. This way, the way they had it set up with two cameras and the mic and everything, if you made a mistake, you just stopped, paused for a minute, and then kept going on what you were talking about, because they'll edit it right out and made it look like you never skipped a beat.
Yep.
It was pretty cool being the person in front of the camera. Little shy, but not too bad. But there he is. I don't know who took that picture of him in front of the eagle. Did you?
That one I did not. No, I took the one of him and Nick. I took the one that's below that, where to give the perspective of the interview with the cameras, and
cool.
And then also the one right to the right of it, where he was getting ready to come through the door. Because just like in movies or television, sometimes when things are being filmed, they're filmed out of sequence.
Right.
Because to your point, what you were saying about the editing, and that was one of the last things that was filmed, was with Jeffrey coming in and knocking on the door and then greeting everybody. So it was kind of cool just to see all that being done, and again, through the magic of movie making, editing everything together. So it's definitely going to be a really cool piece. I mean, it's going to bring a lot of attention to Space 1999, to the Eagle, which is really, really cool. I mean, it's very, very iconic, obviously. I mean,
right.
And it's an exciting time for Space 1999 fans.
Yeah, and if this thing turns out, and it happens, goes full forward and gets completed, we're talking probably a next Netflix series or something along the Netflix type deal.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good for this year, almost 50 years later. So,
I still have a problem wrapping my mind around the 50-year mark. It just doesn't feel like it's 50 years,
Right. So hopefully this will be done, and he's talking about visiting my house, and he's going out to visit Nick at his house, going back across to the UK to do some interviews. He's trying to get in to see Barbara Bain. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
And how it goes together. I'm hoping it is a success.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're definitely rooting for this project. And what's great too is really the 50-year mark it's officially 50 years, where production started November of this year, and it went right into March of 1975 with the first season. So anywhere in any of that time frame is literally 50 years, and it's, as they say, the future is fantastic.
Yeah, you were talking about the entry where you got that right hand bottom corner picture. He wanted to do an entry like he was coming in, and then he was going to talk to us. I think we did that 4 times, didn't we?
Yeah, it was several takes for that, but
yeah.
But it all works out though, because I mean, he would take different pieces of it from each take, and then it just gets edited together.
Yeah, it was fun. Somebody put down, I think it was Bernard Fathom. Yeah, he's the one that said the Metaprobe piece was featured in a Sci-Fi model magazine around that time. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
We've got Nick McCarty out there. We've got David. Yeah, somebody said, let me see if some of this shows up on here. on my phone because it's in this props and ships thing, but it's hard to tell because it just says Facebook user and then say that's awesome. So I'm trying to figure out who said what. But
Gotcha.
anyway, they were complimenting David Jacobs on his work.
Yeah, it's truly amazing.
So let's see. Next, we have some more Jeffrey. We were you must have been taking these.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there you go. Because that was when he walked in and started. He wanted to walk into us in that bottom corner, standing there looking at the eagle and stuff. I think I've got the eagle in my hand down there in the corner. So
Yep.
that was some more of his entry takes, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's the 22-inch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was part of your discussion, which was kind of cool because he said, how did Space 1999 props and ships come about? And he posed the question to you, and then that's when you responded to him and explained what it was, the different folks that it comprised of and what was going on. I guess back in 2015, I know Gordon had was also speaking in regards to that about the 22-inch Eagle that was finally going to be released after almost 40 years, and it was going to be more accurate, and that was the pretty much the origins that you guys spoke about. So it was kind of cool to have that captured.
Yeah, in all honesty, I have to name a few names because we started the props and ships. It was like 148 scale Eagle Transporter Group or something like that, And it's because I got a little birdie in my ear, which we all pretty much know. It was Jim Small that Round Two was looking at making this available. So that's what prompted the Facebook group. That, and as far as I could tell, there weren't any really good Facebook Space 1999 groups. At that time, there weren't hardly any except for the merchandise. I think that was started by somebody in the UK. I can't remember his name. Paul Stankovich, I believe. So yeah, that's how the group started. So between him and Jamie would never confirm or deny it until it actually was released, and I started talking to Jamie more and more. So you wouldn't believe how many people were like, "Yeah, right. There's no way, Todd, but I hope it happens." So
Yeah,
that's where it all started, and then we eventually changed it to the props and ships because we wanted to include all the props, all the ships from Space 1999. So
right.
that's how that went. So more. Okay, this is I believe you took these photos, right?
Yes, that was for the round 2 display, right?
Round 2 display, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Obviously, there wasn't anything new. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say one of the things I did was I put together a video. So what I was going to say is if you want to check out some of the interviews that were being done or some of the discussions that were being done, it's a 10-minute video, which I mean might be a little excessive for some people, but I was just trying to capture some of the highlights from WonderFest. But what I was going to say is that in the section in which Jeffrey comes in to meet with you, with you and Gordon and Keith and Dave, some of those interview questions are posed in there. And again, it's a sample, so you kind of get the feel of what was being discussed and what was being asked.
Right on.
Just wanted to put that out there.
That's what I'm glad a lot of people took photos and some videos because I obviously couldn't. So I've asked a lot of these people if it's okay, and everybody was graciously said, "Oh yeah, no problem. Spread the word." So there wasn't anything really new from Space 1999 besides the re-release of the Cargo Eagle, but they are still working on the UFO items, the Interceptor, the Shadow Mobile, and the UFO itself. will be the first 3 that come out, and the only reason they're not saying a whole lot or doing anything because it's still in negotiations, and they've got the owners, the rights have been agreed to, so they're working on the scales that they'd like to do. So I think it'll be pretty cool to the Jerry Anderson fans, which we all are.
When I saw Jamie, I posed a question about the 22-inch Eagle 4 pre-build. I'm just hoping that's something that'll be in the future. And I know, round 2 has been getting a lot of requests about that. Different folks have talked about that. So just hoping that that's something that we see down the road. I think, he didn't indicate anything definitive, but he knows the interest is out there. So, which is a good thing.
He knows the interest out there. I've talked to him about it, and it would be a good. I mean, he's already got everything he needs to do it. All the dimensions, all the molds and castings and stuff, whatever they want to do it. But that would be a nice one. It would probably be a little more expensive than the last ones were, but I'm sure he would probably up it to double of what he put out the other pre-builds, because everybody likes the Eagle 4 itself.
Yeah, that would definitely be a home run.
The good thing is they re-released the Cargo Eagle, the winch. I mean, that says a whole lot, because he saw the requests. He saw how stupid the prices were on eBay and some of those places. So they just killed all that. Just re-released it.
How many do you know how many they ran originally for their first run, Todd?
Usually the first runs are around somewhere between 2,500 and 5,000. I don't know exactly. We've talked about it before, and I know it's the first run is usually the bigger of the run. So I would guess somewhere near closer to the 5,000 mark.
Gotcha.
The regular transporter Eagles are still selling. So basically they just brought that one out of retirement because people were getting, it was a slow bloomer, and that's what I believe. There wasn't very much advertising for that kit. But after seeing everything that the people have built since then and the demand for it, it was a good call. So anybody that didn't get the first round, definitely get this re-release. Support your local round 2 in the Space 99 fans so we can get some more stuff. I will say that we did have dinner with Jamie, and we talked about a laser tank 3-pack, super pack. It would be definitely in the 1/48 scale. And we also showed him that he could actually make it to where it could be remote control motorized.
Wow.
So that was our push this year, and that's why we're going to focus next year on the laser tank. So you'll see all kinds of laser tanks there next year. So they do listen. They take it to heart that the fans, what they're asking for. They just got to make sure they'll sell.
And it is kind of cool when you think about it, because a lot of these special kits too, I mean, they were only featured in maybe like one episode,
right?
And the attention, or maybe 2 episodes, depending upon what model you're speaking of. I mean, like Eagle 4 obviously was just a metamorph with the spine boosters. I mean, you had the lab pod that showed up in several episodes, even in the first season, but more so in the second. But then you have the Cargo Eagle from Breakaway and Space Warp, or not Space Warp, excuse me, Space Brain, where, with the meteorite that it was carrying. So, and that's gotten a lot of attention. So it is, I mean, when you stop and think, this is a show that only produced at that time 48 episodes between the 2 seasons, between 73 and 76. It's kind of cool that 50 years later it's getting all this attention. So
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing that we've still got so many uh, fans out there, and they just keep coming. Keep as they see things like this, and they see things at Wonderfest, they join the groups and they join in on the fun.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard somebody say it's not about the numbers. It really isn't about the numbers. It's about the people.
Yeah.
The more people that we get out there, that because and this is honest truth. Until 2013, I had no idea that you guys had the conventions in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I had no idea about any of that stuff. I only stumbled across it by, I think it was the Eagle Transporter um, Forum, the ETF. And I met a lot of people on there, and then I met Gordon and I'm doing on Facebook, and then all of a sudden I'm getting these hints. I mean, it just fell in place for me,
Hmm.
and that's what we want. We want people that don't know about the fandom, that it's still alive, to come in here, join one of these groups, and be a part of it. Go to a
Well, I think,
convention.
I mean, in back in the day, and this is why, like, I really try to remember Starlog magazine. I mean,
Right.
that's one example, but Starlog was instrumental back in the day because there was no internet, there was no, Facebook groups or anything like that. I mean, essentially, you had folks that had an interest, and there were columns. I mean, obviously David Hirsch, huge. I mean, that was why one of the reasons why I really wanted to have him involved with the 2017 convention, because he was there from the beginning in regards to his input with Starlog magazine and everything he did in doing the earlier conventions and his association with Jerry Anderson. But unfortunately, that kind of disappeared because we did go in regards to, the internet started taking off, and it was
Kill
a
the
way of
magazines.
communicating. Yeah, unfortunately. So it's like one thing replaced the other. I still love having a publication where you can read. I mean, they're still out there, but unfortunately, a lot of them have dried up as a result of that. But that's why it's great to be able to connect with different folks and with the different groups. And a lot of times folks, they will join something and then they're out there, but then there's folks that are very active and they partake and have a real solid interest. And that's it's cool. And it's cool that this is like international. I mean, that's what Space 1999 was. It was an international series about an international space station on the moon base. And now, fast forward 50 years later, and we have all these global connections thanks to the internet that has brought folks together. With Space 1999, and with everything that you guys do and other folks do, and it's just it's a really good thing.
Yeah. I asked Rosie, I said, how did you find all these uh, conventions back in the day? She said, Starlog Magazine. I said, I had no
Yeah.
clue. Didn't even know about Starlog Magazine. I just knew I liked it, and I thought maybe I'm just like one of a couple hundred people out there that liked it. I don't know. But in '98, when they released that, re-released the AMT Eagle kit,
Hmm.
I think I bought 10 of them. So I think I've got a few still up in my storage area that are the 12-inch originals. So to have these new kits, as Gordon says, 27 new products in 8 years is pretty darn good for a small following like Space 1999, which is not so small anymore.
No.
And we don't care if you're just a casual 1999 person. We want you to be informed, and if you decide that, if we have a convention like we're supposed to have in the UK next year, the more people that you can get that out to, the more chances that you're going to have a successful convention.
Yeah, and what's really nice is folks that aren't aware of the conventions. I mean, I'm just gonna give a plug real quick in regards to the virtual conventions, the last two that were done. I mean, what was nice about that was that folks that had never attended conventions before actually were able to, and that in itself was very rewarding. I know Warren put a lot into that in regards to that, and it definitely, it's like every decade has its stamp where things change. And I was talking to somebody just today that's involved with Star Trek, and we were just talking about how, with the virtual conventions and, the live, I mean, COVID is brutal and as negative as it was and god awful as it was, at least, the positive spin was that things may have stopped on a physical level. However, there was still the connections that were able to be done with folks being able to connect where they could, watch from the safety of their home and maybe
Right.
not being in person. And it just kind of spread along. And now it's really taken off in so many different venues, not only with, this series, but again with Trek, with Star Wars. I mean, you go on the internet and you do a search on it, and this is still going on. So it's like, again, every decade has its time of special type of events or things that are happening on a technological level, and it makes
Right.
you wonder what will be happening 50 years from now, Todd, when we're probably not around.
Yeah. WonderFest is not a Space 1999 convention, but by God, we put our dent in it this year in the past 8 years. I
Right.
remember the first year that we did it, we had these special shirts that Jim Small came up with, um, about the 22-inch eagle. It was a picture. It was like I can't remember. I've still got the shirt in my closet, but so we're walking around in these shirts, and I think it was either the first year or the second year. I kept hearing people go, "Where have all these Space 99 people coming from?" I mean, it just grew and grew every year. Every year, I see more and more people that I haven't met that come out because we're there. And then most of us are obviously sci-fi fans, other other shows, so they get to see everything out there. So it was very. This was probably the largest turnout for them since before COVID.
And you know what, Todd, thinking about it too, I mean, and just saying this too, because we all know that we all have, full-time jobs. So this is stuff that we do in our spare time. This is stuff that, you know, we do it for the passion and the love of the series and everything that goes around it. But this would be almost a way to potentially, even maybe if, something like this was done at other events, that not necessarily that's, besides Wonderfest, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just bringing the awareness out there, something to, to be considered, whether it's on the West Coast, the East Coast, in the South, in the North, because there are different types of autograph shows or different types of events that are done. But of course, then, it's the time that goes into doing that and being able to be available. I mean, just from breaking down everything, I know that, well, just with that 88-inch eagle, that was a job in itself, and just with everything else, in having everything set up. But as time progresses, maybe that would be something to be considered, and just as far as, from a physical standpoint, getting more awareness out as well.
Yeah. And what people don't realize is a 2-day show for us is really a 5-day show. By the
Yeah.
time we pack everything up, we meet up, caravan to the show on Friday, do all the setups, because the show
Yeah.
doesn't actually start until Saturday morning,
Right.
but you have to have it ready for
Yeah.
Saturday. And then we usually leave late Sunday evening after we've packed up and everything. And then when we get home, we still have to unpack, put the stuff that I took out of my display back in my display, and the same with Gordon, the same with Mike and Debbie. So yeah, it's a big deal. You have to, and then I try to go back to work after all that, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Right. You got to jump right back in where you left off, like nothing
Mhm.
ever,
Yeah.
nothing
So
transpired, and you're
it's all
totally switching
for
gears.
it's all for the fandom. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get. I'm definitely not getting rich. That's for sure. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for me and other fans like me, and they're out there. Just like Scott says, amazing news about the tanks. Imagine the kit bashes of the Crane and Dozer folks, Claire and Nick notably, have done. Yeah, it would be cool. We could do all kinds of stuff with that stuff.
A lot of cool stuff.
Mark Heavenham, he is one of my good friends. He came up here 2 times the year that I had my surgery, and he came to the hospital and hung out with me. And then the year after that, he came back and we met in a Starbucks and just kind of hung out and talked.
Very nice.
He was actually moving to Indiana, right? Probably less than 20 minutes from me. So I'm going to have a British model builder guy to hang out with, and I believe our first project's going to be the 44-inch Eagle. So I will get experience in building one. He's actually got me some of the Halfords Ford Diamond White paint coming. So we're gonna do a video of the build. So every day we're gonna video, and I'll edit it out and put it on Todd's Corner or something like that for people to watch. We'll probably do some live stuff. Just hey, we're here working on this Eagle. What do you think? So I'm looking forward to hanging out with him a lot.
That'll be pretty cool.
Have a Space 1999 fan like I am within 20 minutes. He's got a lot to do to set up and get his house. I've already helped him with some of the house. Me and my some of my guys at work went over to their house and cleaned the basement completely out because it was basically a storage area. So I'll help him whatever I can, and then we'll get busy on some builds, and that'll be on this show also. And he says, "Good grief, yeah." He leaves the UK, and I set up a con. I didn't set up, but a con getting set up for in the UK. So he's like, "But
have to come back and visit."
Right? No reason he can't get a ticket and go with me.
There you go.
This last photo I got is up here in the left-hand corner. Those are BP Taylor's scratch builds. It's basically the Eagle 1B kit with add-ons.
Okay.
So you got the Eagle 1 is in the far right back corner in the top, and then he's got the Commander's skiff right there in front with the little landing legs. And I'm not sure what he calls the other one in the back, but I really like that. So that's his Space 1999 versions of what he thinks that series could have.
It's creative.
He's very creative, and I thought I had a picture of his moonhopper, but we'll see. I don't think I have any. I think that's my last slide. But please, if you are at WonderFest, post your pictures in the props and ships and anywhere else, the other groups that you're in, because there was a lot of people floating around getting photos, a lot. Some that diehard Trek fans were like, "Man, you can't deny the look of this Eagle." So,
nah, people were pretty happy. I mean, it was a very, very nice setup, and it was right in the middle of Star Trek. It was in the middle of the Irwin Allen setup. It was a nice representation. It was nice. It was great seeing everything, and it was just it was a good time. It was a special time.
yeah, Mark's watching, so he commented, "Indiana is like the New York 1997. Once you go in, you don't come out." You're right.
The Maw of the Dragon. Is that what he's saying?
Pretty much. So I'm gonna jump back. I'm gonna take this off and jump back to a few questions. If you got time, you have time to keep hanging with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes. In fact, I'm actually going to be heading over to my parents just to spend some time with my dad. So I'll have to go in about 10 minutes.
Yes, it is Father's Day. Again, if you weren't here when I opened up, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Father's Day that um, has got their kids out there and doing their Father's Day thing. I'm sure
Yeah,
this
happy
will be
Father's Day, everyone.
rewatched.
Yeah, and happy Father's Day, Todd.
Thank you. Yep, mine are all back in Indiana while I'm here helping my dad. But
Yeah, my son's
I hope,
in Texas.
yeah, I hope that happens when I need help. Well,
Oh,
my
I'm
kids
sure it will.
go their go to the lengths that I'm going to help mine. So, oh, let's see. John Haig's here. Bernard, obviously Matthew Bowdery. Um, Steve Belinsky is watching. Joe McNally, we mentioned him earlier. John Lawton is watching. Paul Woodcock is watching. You know, uh, Paul Wood he lives here in Indiana also. He was at the convention, and he's had some serious um, health ailments over the past few years. But man, he got around there like a trooper. Man, he got a really good picture of him with him and his wife with Nick, and he walked all over that place.
Very
I,
nice.
I was nice to see him. He also helped me get when I got my pre-built Enterprise. No, yeah, it was a pre-built. And I also got one that was built by uh, yeah,
Mark Myers.
Mark Myers. Yeah.
Let me say, Mark's work is pretty incredible too, and he lives right down the road from me. We've been saying for close to like a year and a half we need to get together and meet
You
up
gotta
because
go. You gotta go over and see some of his stuff. I've got the Enterprise. I also have one of his Eagles, which was there. That was the Rescue Eagle that was by the TV. That
Yep.
was Mark's build.
Yeah, he does amazing work.
So Paul hooked me up. He was getting a nameplate made for his 1350 Enterprise. So he sent off, and they got signed by William Shatner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So I've
Very
got
nice.
an awesome plaque for either one. I've got it on my Mark Myers build right now, but it's pretty cool. So he's a pretty good guy, that Paul Wood. He'd do anything for anybody. And I was glad to see him there this year.
Very cool.
George Darr. Hey, buddy. Haven't talked to you in a while. We need to talk when I get a chance. I'll hit you up on Messenger. Catch up. I haven't talked to you in a while, and I haven't been ignoring you. I'm sorry if I would take that way too. Chris Trice is there saying any updates on the UK con. I don't have any updates.
Updates in regards to the UK convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be taking place September of next year. What I would recommend doing, Chris, is you can definitely go to I think it's been updated on the Facebook page of
50th anniversary.
50th anniversary. Yes, thank you. So yes, that is the target date for it. I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but I can actually send you the information later. Just if you're okay with that, through I can either PM you or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely it's gonna happen, and it's literally gonna be like around 14 and a half months away from now, which doesn't seem like a long time, but it really, or it does seem like a long time, but really isn't, as we know, right, Todd? The time goes so
Right.
fast.
Yeah, it goes
So,
really fast. So
but thanks for asking, Chris, about that.
yeah, I would say check the 50th anniversary page. And if you still have some troubles figuring it out, just hit me in a messenger, and I'll get you something.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is even whatchamacallit, trying to think of other sites too. But yeah, it's in the works. So just stand by in regards to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So looks like I've got most of the questions. Nick McCarty said Nick could always do a quick answer edition. Ain't no way. There's no quick in answering questions for Nick Tate. He will start answering your question, and he'll just go way over here and be talking about this, and then he'll meander back around, and he's, oh, what was your question? Sorry, got to talk about other things. But I don't know anybody else that I would want to that I could listen to right now, because obviously I think Martin was a pretty good talker from what I hear. I never got to see him in live or anything, or in a convention, but we'll
about that.
Looks like you're lagging a little bit, Roy.
Well, how's that? Is that a little bit better?
It's trying to. Could just be the signal where you're at.
How's that?
There you go. Well, it's trying. That's all right. We're probably going to wrap up here pretty soon anyway. I hear bits and pieces of you, but
okay.
You are out there in your vehicle.
In Cyberland.
Your sound's coming.
But
yeah, your sound's coming across pretty good.
Does it sound better?
Yeah, I can. Your answers are coming back right at me, but your video's lagging.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go. Now you're back on.
Got a little technology.
Yeah. So I want to just again say Happy Father's Day to all you guys out there, and I'll probably do some more some videos on the Facebook page, Props and Ships, to get you guys all like you were there almost. Somebody just posted information on about the I can't see who it is though. Convention update. I'll go ahead and show it real quick. Convention update September 11th through 17th, 2024. Location Radisson Red at Heathrow. Tickets for London $19.99. A 50th anniversary celebration under $199.90. You're getting really bad now. I know, pretty much you're just frozen. Hey, Roy, if you can hear me, go ahead and do your thing. I'm going to talk for a few more minutes, and I really appreciate you joining me, and I was so glad to see you at WonderFest. I'm going to take him off just for a minute. If he comes back, I'm watching below to see if it happens. So there's your update for the convention. Go to those areas and to those to the 50th anniversary, I believe, and the Facebook group page, and sign up or do what you got to do to get signed up. I'm not sure if they're taking full money right now, but it's still a little over a year away, which you really have to plan that far ahead to get what you're going to get. So, I see Debbie Reader said, good afternoon, guys, from Mike and Mike and Debbie. Glad to see you guys are here. Yeah, and the tanks and stuff like that. If you're a kit basher, this one Facebook user said he will buy several tank kits. Man, I'm just stuttering like crazy. I'm trying to look over here and see your questions and go back to what I'm saying. So, but we've been on for an hour and 21 minutes already. I didn't mean to take up anybody's time, and hope everybody's having a beautiful day, Father's Day, and everything, and everybody's safe. I will. I'll see you in a few weeks on more Todd's Corner. I'm just gonna have to play it by ear until I figure out what's going on with my dad. But I should. Oh, there's Roy again.
Hey,
there
Todd. Sorry about that.
Just had to reboot, didn't you?
Yeah, the phone just gave out on me.
I was just telling everybody that. Well, I told them I took you off earlier and that you were redoing it, and if you came back, I'd pop you back on. But I was pretty much just wrapping it up, saying thanks for everybody watching, and I would see them probably in a couple weeks. When's your next show? Tonight?
Yeah, no. First, I want to say thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and it was cool hanging out in last week, and I'm glad I was able to finally make it out to WonderFest.
Yeah, little we did, but yeah, it was great.
So thanks for that. The next show for Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner is going to be this Friday, and that'll be at 7:30 p.m. Excuse me, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Ross and I are going to be talking about Indiana Jones. So we're going to concentrate on Raiders of the Lost Ark, but we're also going to incorporate the other films as well. But the main discussion is going to be talking about the character of Indiana Jones. As everybody knows that the June 30th, which is pretty much, less than 2 weeks away, the last Indiana Jones movie is going to be released, Indiana Jones #5. So we're kind of just going to be talking about that to celebrate that. And then on Sunday, a week from today, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Michael and Denise Okuda from Star Trek are going to be coming on the show, and I'm going to be talking to them about their involvement in regards to Star Trek, as well as their other projects. They've been behind From All Mankind, and then of course recently Picard Season 3. So very excited about having them on the show. So if want to check that out, that's next Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Just click on Roy's page and it'll take you straight to his tie-dye.
Yeah. Yep. So thanks again for that. And this was great.
Absolutely. I had so much fun at WonderFest. I needed one more day to really do the things that I wanted to do. So
yeah, there's never enough time for anything.
No, we're gonna do some things differently next year. We won't have. I don't think we'll have. I don't know. I don't think Jeffrey's going to be at that one, and I'm not thinking Nick will either. But we'll still have a display and all that stuff, so we won't be so busy.
Gotcha. So,
for me and Gordon and Roy, we appreciate you guys joining today. Gordon couldn't be with us. He's busy with Father's Day stuff, and which I should be also. But it is what it is.
Yeah, so, like I said, I'm heading over there right now.
Hope everybody. There you go. Yeah, we can all do that. Yeah. So everybody have a great weekend, and I'll be seeing you in the pages for the next few weeks. So
take care, everyone.
All right. See you, everybody. See you, Roy. Thanks a lot.
Bye, Todd. Thanks. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Bye.